Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tadaima, Terrace House Podcast, your weekly companion to your favorite show on Netflix. I'm Robert Scarpanito, and I am joined here by Daily Wilhelm.
Konbanwa?
Jack Cepeda.
If you just let me know. Hi, everybody.
No. We don't want people to skip the podcast.
I'm so sorry. I had to do that.
And we have Colin Sparling.
Instead of a greeting, I will leave you with this. Hamak.
Thanks.
Sure is.
Profound words of wisdom. Guys, we are celebrating a huge milestone with this episode. You know, and we've reached a lot of milestones recently. You know, we recently hit 500. We're actually at like 600 subscribers, which is awesome. We're seeing a lot of new downloads. And, you know, thank you so much, everyone who has ever listened to us, ever gave us a chance, you know, and just are enjoying what we do, because we enjoy what we're doing too. And we just want to foster a great community. But more important than all of that, guys, this is episode 69 of Tadaima.
Nice.
I think for me, at least, I don't know if anyone else in the room, but this is the highest episode number I've ever done of any podcast ever, which means that Tadaima...
Have we officially beat out Tiny Disc?
I mean, yes, it's now his last one, I think. Yeah,
how about it?
So this is the most I've ever podcasted ever on a show. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, aside from it being a joke number, I mean, it's kind of cool seeing how far we've come. Next week would be arguably a more important milestone of 70, you know, an actual even number.
There you go.
I mean, we're only 30 away from 100. What are we going to do for episode 100, Robert? Tell us right now. You're on the spotlight, Robert. Do it now.
We don't plan that far. We don't plan very far in the future.
Well, you guys don't. I will pitch a game show.
The master plan.
Where I host everything and you guys are contestants vying for my undying love and affection.
Can we do
The Bachelor.
Can we do a Terrace House D&D crossover?
Yeah, yes, we could.
Who would be
my
the boss?
question is, okay, hold on. Let's go off the rails here just a little bit. Of the 6 people who are in the house right now, what classes would they be?
Oh, Jesus.
Okay.
Kenny's a bard, easy.
Yeah, definitely. Kenny's definitely a bard.
Mm-hmm.
Haruka, I feel like, would be a warrior.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Or a fighter.
Fighter. I can see that.
Risako would be like a monk, I feel like.
The parkour.
Yeah.
The parkour.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ruka would be a commoner.
I was gonna say a rogue. I feel like he'd be a rogue.
He's not.
Well,
Because of his sneaky staircase climbing.
Either that, or I think he'd be a fighter or paladin because he wants to be a hero, which we will definitely talk about today.
Yeah.
And Shohei would be a mage. I feel like Shohei would be a mage because he gives sage advice.
I was gonna say Kaori mage, but now we got to come up with something for her.
Yeah.
Well, there's wizard and sorcerer, so they're both different in class, so it could just be one or the other.
She's just straight up magical.
Yes.
So
there you go. We did your D&D Terrace House crossover. That's
okay.
awesome.
I'm into this.
There you
Let's
go.
do some fan
This
art.
is for all the Critical Role, Adventure Zone, whatever fans out there.
Let's get some fan art out there. Let's do it.
Hey, you struggled getting that word out, huh?
Yeah.
But this week we are talking about episode 10 of Tokyo 2019-2020, The Boy That Gets Treated.
Hey.
We all know that this episode's about Ruka. I think this might be like the 3rd or 4th episode named after Ruka or events surrounding Ruka, I feel like, just of the season so far. I don't know. I just thought I'd point that out. That's interesting. He's kind of the star of the season in a way, even though this isn't that Ruka heavy. He plays a part, but not a big one.
No, I mean, a lot of his points have been slashed, though. He was definitely it was very Ruka-centric toward the beginning of the series, and then we've shifted quickly over to Kenny now with the love triangle going on between him, Haruka, and Risako, which is since ended, but then reopened via this episode with Haruka.
Yes.
I like the initiative that Ruka's showing now. You know, we'll get there.
He rolled a high initiative.
He's not a passive boy.
Yes, no.
Passive boy.
So the show opens up with the panel, and I just wanted to point this out because this is something that Jack expertly analyzed at the end of our last episode about how there was that scene between the jam sesh between Kenny and Yusuke, Haruka crying in the middle, and it's like this poetic moment. And Yama and Shochan didn't get it, but Tokui was like, "No, I got you," and he explained basically exactly what Jack said last week, which I think that's interesting that there's a similarity there.
That was kind of weird to see. I was like, oh, he saw the same thing I saw. It kind of made me feel old. I was like, oh.
You are.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I got this because I'm old. This is
you
what
are wise man of indeterminate age.
This is what, like I guess life experience kind of opens up to your eyes. But yeah, I saw it plain as day. I thought in the editing, it just made it really cool, really just prevalent what was happening. So it was interesting to see Tokui kind of agreeing with me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did you know Jack's last name is Oldman?
Yeah.
Gary. Gary's my dad.
Son of Gary. But we get into the show proper here. We kick it right off with the Aloha Tokyo, the Alokia Music Festival 2019 in the Yebisu Garden Place. We see Haruka and Shohei. They're weaving through the crowd to get to the right stage to go see Eden Kai perform.
Hey.
And it's a good show. It's a good, he's on his uke. He's singing along. He's having fun. He's jamming. And everyone there seems to be having fun. You see Haruka is definitely smiling about it. She's like, oh, he's so cute. It's a nice scene overall.
Yeah, he sounds fantastic, but damn, dude, he is like he is I don't know. The part where he like breaks and stops and for a second he waves at the crowd. And he's like "Arimashita," and I'm like, kind of looking like a 15-year-old kid up there, my boy.
I think that lighting is a big part of a live show. So like to do it like in the daylight, where there's no like lights or anything like that, just like broad daylight, it's just like it would be nerve-wracking for me as a performer. I'd be like, let's turn these lights down. Some low light in here.
Yeah, I don't know. He's just he's definitely like, I don't know. I think Yusuke just looks younger than he actually is to me.
I mean, the uke is a cool thing. Not taking anything away from that, but I personally enjoy it more when he's playing like the full size guitar, because then he gets that percussion element into it, right? Where he's like really, he just opens up like the soundscape, I guess, when he's playing on a full size guitar. So I guess if I had to pick one, I'd prefer that one.
And I agree. And funnily enough, whenever I heard him play guitar, I've always thought, this style sounds very familiar to me. And, back when I was younger, I'd see these YouTube videos of this guy called Andy McKee, right? Who does stuff like that. He taps on the guitar while tapping on the strings and playing it normally. Like he's a master at making the guitar an instrument that he plays. And I actually saw this interview recently with Yusuke where he said that, one of my earliest influences was Andy McKee. And I was like, no shit.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Small world.
Interesting. Yeah. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've noticed though that like that percussive style is definitely, I've seen a lot of people kind of taking on that influence. I've seen, I can't particularly name it off the top of my head, but I've seen that style of playing before. I don't think it was by the same guy though, but it's becoming popular. It already is.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems to be, I seem to see it more and more, and it's cool, man. Just further what you can do with acoustic guitar. I'm for it.
For sure. So after Yusuke's set, after the Eden Kai set, Shohei and Haruka go to Dot Eatery and Bar. They have a little bit of a lunch, and they both are like, hey, Eden Kai was super cool on stage. That was awesome. And yet Haruka kind of goes over that dramatic jam sesh, right? From last night. Because this was just last night when she saw Yusuke perform with Kenny. And she's like, I kind of felt my feelings for Kenny come back. And
man, at that moment, I thought she was saying, I was starting to feel feelings for like Yusuke, and I got really excited, and then she was like, nah, it's Kenny, and I was like, oh, okay, fine.
Oh boy. I was secretly rooting for that too. Like, come on, let's get this going.
Right, but she's not going to the Kenny show. Absolutely, for sure now, it's based on what happened last night, right? And here we also find out that, well, we've already known this as an audience, but Haruka finds out that Shohei's not interested in Kaori romantically anymore.
Damn. Still didn't make it any easier.
Yeah. I like how Haruka is like definitely like, really? Because it's like everyone's in love with Kaori. You can't not be in love with Kaori.
Yeah. I mean, he was really blunt about it, but it's also, it was a strategy or a strategic move on his part, because we know that he has interest in Haruka based on past events. And so I think that's him taking a stance and saying like, yeah, I'm not interested in Kaori. I'm on the market.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. But then also like right after that, Haruka mentions, oh, hey, Yusuke asked me out in July. And Shohei's immediately, and the panelists point this out too, but he's immediately on board and is like, oh, you should go with him. Go out with him.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think he was going to say no there. I think, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he doesn't see him as a threat in his mind, but also he didn't want to be like, yeah, you shouldn't go out with Yusuke. I feel like that would have made him look bad.
I feel like Shohei typically plays it cool in times where other people, like myself included, might have some anxiety. And so he tends to like play it pretty cool. Like he wants, and he even said it here, right? He wants a person that's going to challenge him. He's comfortable being uncomfortable, kind of. And that's kind of the thing that made him stray away from Kaori, because he didn't feel like she was maybe just being herself because she's so agreeable all the time. I kind of got, what he said with that, because we said before in previous weeks that Kaori seems to be a bit of a people pleaser, right? And so it's hard to really get to the heart of, okay, how does she really feel? Because she's just so damn nice. She's just used to telling people things that make them feel good all the time, even though she might have her own thoughts, right, in her head about something, and she wouldn't put those out there, but she would just let every interaction go smoothly. So I kind of understand where he's coming from. I mean, it's kind of a shame too, because Shohei, man, day one, legend, right? I'm drawn to you strongly. Let's go in the boys' room. I'm going to tell you in front of all the women. And I was like, damn, I thought this was going to be like some adventurous shit. And it kind of fizzled. And so it's kind of sad to see it now. And now it's like pretty much dead, as a doornail. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he would have needed to say like, no, don't go out with him, right? But I mean, it could have just been like, oh, that's cool. Because he exhibits that a lot, where he tends to listen to people and not provide much of like a feedback, right? Like much advice, which I think is a good aspect to him. But it's just odd to me that in this scenario specifically, he was like, here's an actionable item I suggest you do. Go with him,
Do it.
And then also, knowing what we know from the Tempura incident, episode 2, if they end up like dating or whatever, Haruka and Shohei, that was the one that I've been saying forever, is like, I can never see it. I can never imagine it. I will be shocked beyond belief if it actually gets there.
Maybe he likes being called out. He's like, tell me my flaws.
Oh, it's like
I was kind of thinking like that Masao thing, right? Like, where it's like, oh yeah, hate on me.
So Shohei's a masochist is what you're saying.
Maybe. I don't know. We're just putting the idea out there.
Maybe. I could see it though. I mean, I could see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
He wants honesty.
Yeah. So after that little eating out moment, Haruka leaves. She goes off to do, I don't know what I said. We're going to roll and keep going with it. Haruka leaves.
Can we? After that moment, she goes and she. Robert is so red right now.
Yeah, it's really. That was just like my brain was like, whoa. Yeah, she goes off to do her own thing because she doesn't want to go see Kenny perform. Right.
Yes.
And so we get to see an unadulterated Shohei, the ultimate fanboy. Like, he's so good. He's so happy to be there.
Dude, he did that like, I see you thing.
I see you, and he's like eye to eye.
Dude, it was so loud. It was so loud. It was the best one so far of his laugh. I rewound it like 5 times and I called my wife in the room, like, listen to this laugh. Here's the best example of it so far. We listened to it like 3 times.
What is Jack's wife's hot take on the Shohei laugh?
She's like, wow, that's a laugh.
Look,
she's not wrong.
All I'm saying is get you a man who looks at you the way Shohei looks at Kenny.
Serious.
Yeah. We're so what's funny is excited.
Kenny's there. He's tuning his guitar, and you kind of see him like chuckle a little bit. I think he's kind of laughing at his laugh.
I think
is
so.
The way I read that. He's like, oh my God, that was really loud, dude.
That's maybe Shohei's talent.
Guys, I'm sorry, man, if you laugh like this, but I don't know if I could be friends with someone like that. It's just embarrassing.
Oh, no. Like he wouldn't be able to tell jokes ever.
Not in public anyways.
Just hear that laugh.
It's like, oh my gosh.
No, I'd totally be friends with a guy like that, because that's a story. I mean, that's like a listen to this guy's laugh kind of a thing. You know what I mean?
No, fair enough. Yeah, I actually was friends with a girl back in Ohio. My wife and I were both friends with her, and she had a crazy like laugh. I don't even know if I could even replicate it, but it was really deep and really like robust. Is the only word I can use. Robust. The only word is like no. I'm gonna try and do it, but I am so sorry. Like I'm not really trying to mock this. We loved her laugh, but it was like it's like,
that's wild.
It was the kind of laugh like you wanted to make her laugh. And then she would start snorting.
Did the fucking Titanic take possession of her vocal cords?
I'm not going to say her name here, but we miss you, friend. That you know who you are.
I'm sure you're very nice. I'm sorry.
So after that show, we go to the first floor of the house, and it starts out with just Shohei and Kenny. Kenny comes home, and Shohei immediately lights up. Like I'm not kidding. Get using mans like Shohei. Because I'm kind of shipping him a little bit this episode.
Right?
Yeah, he glows up and he's like, oh my God, Kenny, you're home. They talk a little bit about the show, but Kenny definitely noticed that Haruka wasn't there.
Interesting turn of events, eh?
I don't really know what he was expecting, though. Question mark?
He is way too worried about what the fuck Haruka's doing here. In this whole episode, he's too worried about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a little strange. Like, if you sit down with someone and you're just like, I don't view you as a romantic partner. I don't have any sort of feelings for you.
In fact, I like the girl you hate.
What do you
Why
think
didn't you come to my show?
Yeah, and then you come back, you're like, why did you come to my show? Don't think I don't see you as a romantic prospect, even though I totally said it. I don't. But
guys, I'm going to fucking say it. Fuck this. I'm getting Makoto vibes. I'm totally getting those vibes from Kenny. I want to string them along. You know, here's the shoes I bought you. You know, I want to keep you as a prospect. You still have a chance. It's just like
that's such an insult to Kenny.
I feel like he's just trying to keep her on deck. He doesn't want to let her go. Like, I mean, it's pretty clear when he calls her upstairs to the terrace, but it's just
that's fair.
Yeah. See, and honestly, for me, I see this as kind of proof of Yama's conspiracy about Kenny, right? Where Kenny is just here to be here as long as he can to spicy soul it up, you know?
Self-promotion.
Yeah, and you know, everyone is there to do self-promotion, but it's kind of like his motivations here are so on his sleeves. There's nothing distracting us from anything. So this whole idea of, hey, Haruka, I promise you 100%, I will never see you as a romantic partner ever. Furthermore, I only see Risako as a romantic partner in the house. And then like literally the very next night, or like the next night after your show, he's like, oh, remember all that? I mean, you know, it's not my final answer, right? Like there's still a chance.
It's a real garbage thing to do.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah.
So before we stray too far from the self-promotion tangent, like it's okay, real talk. It's impossible to go to Terrace House and leave less popular, right? It's like a consequence like of what's going to happen. Of course, you're going to get tens of thousands of Instagram followers. Of course, you're going to be recognized. Of course, people are going to want to take their pictures of you and recognize you on the street and da-da-da-da. That's going to happen, you know? And so like, I'm not mad about that at all. You know, it should be, to me, though, it should be a consequence, a happy consequence of going on Terrace House, not like a true motivating, like, this is my prime directive, right? This is my mission critical priority in Terrace House is to get as many followers and become as famous as humanly possible. That's where I don't like it because, you know, I'm here for the love. I'm here for the drama. I'm here for the romance, for the smooching. I'm here for that's why I'm here for Terrace House. You know, if the friendships, the birthday parties, not to just have someone wear the same brand shirt real big, you know, and the same hat,
Captain's
like
helm.
from his own company, like the whole
Sunset
time.
Coast.
And then so that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, I am right there with you, Jack. It's a very delicate balance. I'm like, of course, self-promotion, it makes sense. You're on a show, you're going to be broadcast across the entire world, essentially. And so it makes sense to get your name out there, to advertise a brand or whatever it is you're doing career-wise. But it shouldn't be at the cost of the virtues of what make Terrace House great. right? So like, you're just watching people live. That's what we're here for. And if we're not, if
like
something,
Kaori's doing,
Kaori's doing just great. And so when you get something that gets in the way of that, it's very noticeable. Just like in this case, it's starting to become noticeable.
And really the heart of it is that I just want people to be authentic and just be themselves. Like I want this to be like as close to reality as possible with cameras in your face, right? I want people's true reactions. I want to know who they are, not their representative.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I might be taking a controversial alternate take on this. I don't necessarily care as much about authenticity, only because I don't expect authenticity from these people. You know, I mean, you have the egregious stuff like Risako smoking when there's no cameras around and then trying to look good in front of the cameras, right? And that sounds very mischievous and not mean-spirited, but, you know, it's definitely very selfish motivation, right? Of misportraying herself to make herself look better. But that's what everyone's doing on a basic level. I'm not expecting, like, if I were to meet Kenny on the street, or if I were to somehow voyeur stalker Kenny 24/7, the way I see him on the show is not going to be the same way you would see him in his everyday life.
I mean, yeah, that's realistic. I'm not saying I'm being realistic. I'm saying what I want. I'm saying my preference is like I want them to be as authentic as possible. Again, it's going to be impossible because they know they're on a show, but that's what I was hoping for. And I don't know if we're getting that.
As long as the situation isn't, and this is what I kind of wanted to say about this particular scene, because it almost seemed to confirm like some of those conspiracies and rumors that go around in the Terrace House community, that they're not there all the time. They only live in the house for a couple days a week and then they just go about their business. For some reason, and admittedly, Shohei was pretty drunk, or at least he seemed way too giddy for the moment. He could not place when Risako had her fall and hurt her ribs. And there was like another something that they were like, was that yesterday or the other day or?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because that happened off camera.
Yeah. And to that point, since we are kind of talking about that right now, like from a old grizzled veteran of Western reality show, someone falling on the street and perhaps fracturing their pelvis would have been like such a major cornerstone of the whole series. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a major event. She would have flown in the air. If this was in America, she would have flown in the air. Cameras would have been at multiple angles. Then it would have paused, gone to commercial. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been a big thing. Or maybe that'd be the end of the episode and then make you wait a week to see what happens after she flies in the air. It would have been such a big thing. Here, Terrace House is just like really a very passive thing. It's like, oh, yeah. That's not what the show's about. And it's crazy to think. And I'm not saying I want that, but it's just very interesting to see the dichotomy of how a situation like that would be handled. Yeah, no, 100% that would have been like a cliffhanger on American TV. Totally. And it would have been filmed, that's for sure. Yeah, exactly. But I think though, to Daly's point, it does kind of help back the theory that they're not there the entire time, because the fact that something that crazy happened off camera and it was being mentioned in a very passive way, like no one really understood what was going on. I mean, they made it sound like she had a broken rib. Which is like, or hip or something. I mean, I would love to hear a source too. Like if anyone out there has any sources to give any, truth to this rumor, I want to hear about it. I want to see if there's any interviews out there. Let me know. Like, I understand the current, I guess, like cultural canon is that, that they only film a couple days out of the week. Like when they know that there's stuff going on versus just filming all the time. That would be way too costly. But I sincerely hope it's not true, that it's just like it's like a casting call, essentially. It's like, all right, we need to film on this day, this day, this day. Just be sure to come to the house at some point or another. I want that in between. I want that, they're actually living together, going through the everyday, versus I just have to see Shohei like twice a week. That's it. Right. Because I mean, it's not really living together. I'm picking on Shohei. Yeah. And those rumors are out there. And so there might be, again, some source that somebody can point us to. So please do. Bum, bum, bum.
If we keep going down this line, we're just going to deconstruct what Terrace House is and probably just make another why we hate Terrace House episode or something.
We hate Terrace House.
I hate this show.
Yeah. But to bring it back to the drama, let's suspend our disbelief once again, right?
Okay.
Yeah. That we're back
I'm
in the
cool
show.
with that.
We're back in the drama. Yeah. Basically, Kenny kind of really, really sucks right now. You can't have your cake and eat it too. You know what I mean? If you're going to turn someone down that's going to drastically change your relationship, at least for the first few days, like let her marinate over that decision. You know what I mean? You can't just do it and then realize, oh, she doesn't like me as much. I need to fix that.
He wants to be chased. He's
Yeah.
a delicate flower. He wants to be chased. And it's just like they can only do so much. You know, everyone's getting fed up with it because of his inaction. And everyone, it doesn't make sense to anybody in the house, like why he's doing the things he does.
Right.
Like, why would you care if she's there or not? Like, why would you ask it? And Shohei's good enough a friend to be like, dude, just drop it. It shouldn't be a big deal to you. You shouldn't worry about it as much.
From a relationship standpoint, it's becoming a very difficult house to live in for both Risako and Haruka. Because neither of them really want anything to do with Ruka, even though it seemed like that was going to, like, Ruka was the big player at the beginning of the series. And then they both go out to after Kenny, and he's just so passive and so inactive. And then he says he does, and then he doesn't, and then he does like someone. And so it's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I think it's going to hit a point where somebody gets fed up and someone is leaving the house soon. I
will say this group of 6, like at this stage here, episode 10, like the chemistry is confusing.
It is
to me. Like, I think, like, okay, so Shohei and Ruka have a kind of interesting big brother, little brother almost kind of relationship. Kaori is kind of getting pulled in by Haruka to like team up with Risako, so that's kind of like a toxic friendship in a way. Not to Kaori's fault at all. You know, I kind of blame Haruka for all of that. But Kenny's just kind of there, and Risako hates the girls, and you know, it's just like it's just confused and it's cloudy, and I don't like it. I need more harmony. Maybe we do need more people, new people.
It just makes me harken back to, you know, whenever I look back on Terrace House, previous seasons at least, there were moments where I genuinely believed in the friendships that I was seeing on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Aya and Ami, I genuinely believe, like, yeah, they would ride or die for each other, right?
Taka and Shohei, O&D.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
gosh.
Cool. I see that, like, their friendship has developed, especially Taka Shohei, right? They Predator bro hand shook and cried while, you know, saying like, I'm gonna watch you succeed. Yeah, watch me succeed, bro.
Yeah, dude.
You know?
Yeah.
But with this season, I don't really see anything even like half of that.
Yeah, I mean, Kenny's birthday party too kind of seemed almost like a formality in a way, right? Like it was one of the less personal, less celebratory birthday parties of all the ones we've seen so far. Anyone else think the same?
It definitely felt like, okay, we're having a party now. But at the same time, I love how they clearly had planned to be like, oh, surprise. But like he came all the way in before any of them were like, oh, wait, what do we do?
Yeah. It's like he came home early too, because it wasn't like they were done decorating everything.
Yeah.
And to a point made earlier, just about branding and shit. I don't know if y'all noticed this, but on the blackboard, right, on the chalkboard, there's like all this art and it's like happy birthday, Kenny, right? And then just a little bit in the corner there, #KennyServe.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Yeah, I saw that.
I missed it. I believe it though. That's crazy.
Yeah,
#KennyServe. Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to make a little bit of a bold statement here, and I want you guys to let me know if you agree or disagree.
Let me shake my shoulders loose here.
So I'm starting to feel like with Kenny and everything else that's going on in the house, this season so far feels a little bit phoned in. Feels like we're going through the motions a little bit right now. I mean, there's drama happening, right? But from like a character like Kenny and just stuff's not happening too much, or like stuff just feels it doesn't really have a pop to it that it usually does, other than the big fight that we had. So far it's feeling a little bit phoned in.
The big fight was cool. And like I said last week, I just wanted it to continue. It just got squashed like so fast. It's just, I feel like everyone in the house is just overly thinking things, and they're just really, really more concerned with how they're coming across on TV than it would seem like other groups of 6 in the past.
I think part of that feeling might stem from, this is a pretty big generalization, but walk with me here. So with a show like Terrace House, you're expected to watch it week after week, right? It's not like a sitcom where you can just like tune into it one week and then like miss a few weeks and just jump in later and like you'll have all the context, right?
Sure.
But with this season, I feel like at the beginning of most episodes, like, sure, we have to deal with the aftermath of the drama of last week, of whatever happened last week. But at some point, I feel like just everyone's relationships kind of reset. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
a good way of putting it.
It's like there's no real consequence to the drama that's been happening. Like, Girl Fight was fucking huge. That was the beginning of last episode. And now there's a scene where it's in the playroom and all 3 girls are hanging out, having fun, talking and dishing about Ruka and Kaori's date. And it's like, this feels like Girl Fight didn't even happen last week.
There's no through line.
That's a good point.
No through line narrative.
It's hardly even brought up.
I think it's like, everyone's just so entrenched. Like, no one wants to leave. Like, no one wants to be like, okay, this is it. This is the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm leaving. And, you know, then someone new comes to Terrace House. It's like, how dare they want to work out their problems? Like, it's a very healthy thing to do, is to, you know, forgive and forget and move on.
Right.
But I think for our experience, we're just used to like, no, like, you go and then we get new people, but that's just like the very television meta, I guess.
Yeah. But to keep us rolling through the episode, because we're barely even through like a lot of the events of the episode itself. Risako asks Kenny during his birthday party, hey, can we talk on the roof? Because I need to talk to you about something. And at the roof, she gives him a birthday present, very individual birthday present. It's like after sun tanning care lotion kit thing, which makes
so thoughtful.
sense. It's so very thoughtful for him.
Yeah. Cool.
But she also follows it up with, I want to know what he said to Haruka, because I know you wanted to talk to her.
Dude.
Yeah, and this isn't the only time she brings this up either.
And in this time, at least, Kenny only says, ever since my conversation with Haruka, things have felt weird, so I apologized, and we're good now, I think.
That's not exactly, he's not being really honest.
No, that's kind of a lie.
He's hiding a lot of stuff. Not that he has to tell her. It's not like he has to.
Well, she's gonna find out. It's on fucking TV.
I mean, that's a problem, right? It's just like, dude, what are your true motivations, Kenny-san? What are you up to, bruh?
What are you trying to do, man?
Because my favorite thing.
Even the thing is, like, I'll keep this tangent quick, Robert, because I know we got to get through stuff. But Kenny, even though he's there for self-promotion, dude, like, you're not doing a very good job at making yourself look good anyway. So self-promotion is all good and well or whatever, but it's all for naught if you don't look good afterward.
I mean, I really like related to him early on, so I was rooting for him earlier. I just want him to be cool, man. Just be cool, bro. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing. It's disappointing.
Like, I don't even want to look up the hashtag.
Lying?
Exactly.
Why the fuck you lying?
I don't
oh my God.
Stop fucking
lying.
I don't even care what hashtag Kenny Surf is, because I'm like, I don't care who Kenny is. I've never care for the person he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to promote your brands, be a cool person first, you know?
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Be someone I can trust, essentially.
Right. Make your brand shit.
Yeah. And even if, you know, you were there only for self-promotion, right? And he kept being the calm, cool, collected kind of passive dude. That's fine. Like, you would have came out way better that way instead of doing what you're doing now.
I want to celebrate this guy. Let me celebrate you. Give me something.
We're not the only ones that are feeling kind of negative toward Kenny at the moment after people find out about this wishy-washy ass bullshit that he's been pulling.
Yeah, because after his side of the quote-unquote story, we cut to the first floor. We see Ruka, Kaori, and Haruka there, and Haruka basically says her side of the story, and she's like, and I think it made me kind of mad because like quote hearing that sort of thing would get my hopes up, you know? It's like she knows the game Kenny's trying to play. It's very transparent, and Kaori hates it. It's not great. And a point I want to make here is Ruka also just mousily, sheepily says, that sucks, or something like that, or like that's right.
Yeah, he just chirped in real quick. He was just like on the side there in the periphery.
Gotta say something. That sucks.
Yeah.
Guys.
His eyes were just darting. He looked so uncomfortable this whole time. He looked like the younger brother at the table with like One-chan talking with her friend. Like
that's
totally what
thing.
That was.
That's exactly the narrative thread I want to give Ruka this entire episode, is that he is the child of the house, literally, because this came off to me as like the 10-year-old at the adults table, and the adults are talking about very real adult things, and he kind of understands that it's negative, but he doesn't know why it's negative.
Why? Yeah.
So he's just
that
sucks.
Yeah, it's I don't even think they knew he was there. Like it was funny. A quick little comedic cut.
Yeah, and I think that's the first serious conversation we've seen him be involved in. I feel like.
No, is it true?
I mean,
it's sad.
No, that's not true, but it feels like it.
Yeah.
He was very adult with the whole situation in the last episode with how Risako was out and it was so late, and he was like, I'll go pick her up, like you should text her. That was very adult of him. Like we, as much as we rag on him for stuff like this, he's got his moments.
Yeah, unfortunately, he just doubles
nice
down. He doubles down on all the childish stuff in this episode, and I love it. I don't love it for maybe the reasons he would like it, but it's funny for me.
He means well, and like I think a lot of this is really a big source of the entertainment and the comedic relief, I guess, of this episode is Ruka's antics.
For sure. So then we cut to the panel, and they all agree with us here that Kenny did bad here. He's not great. This isn't a good look for him.
Kenny's
but they also want both Shohei and Ruka to be a lot more aggressive, to be a lot more assertive, especially Ruka. They're very much rooting for Ruka.
Yeah.
They're poking Ruka with a stick to be like, do something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's been a narrative thread since like 2 episodes ago, right? But now we cut back to the first floor. It's Ruka, Shohei, and then Kaori comes down later. But, Ruka's a little bit nervous for this date to Sekaido. And, Shohei is just kind of backing up. I was like, hey, man, like, you got this, right? And in begins what I would like to call the mommy-son outing that it was this entire next, like, 10 minutes. Because even from the get-go here, right? They're like, Kaori and Ruka are like, oh, we should write on the blackboard that we're leaving, right? Ruka starts to write stuff. And at first he's like, oh, hold on, I don't know how to spell Sekaido. Can you spell it for me? And she has to instruct him how to spell it.
Okay.
And then, hold on. And then she's like, wait, your bag is still open. Let me please zip that up for you, son.
Oh my gosh. It was like first day of kindergarten all over again.
Oh my God.
In Ruka's defense, kanji is fucking tricky as fuck. There could be like 8 different kanji for Sekaido, but it was actually spelled the way like Sekai is world. Mm-hmm. So that was the kanji that he used. But he has no excuse for the backpack. You're right about that one.
Yeah, the backpack's really bad. And
that's just some juvenile shit.
I agree with you. Yes, I know kanji is a very difficult part of the Japanese language to understand. It's not a good look to compound that with how much he's looked like a child.
Your bag is wide open, honey. We'll take care of this right away. Just turn around.
Your books are gonna fall out, honey.
Like, I was half expecting her to like put in a Lunchable and a PB&J in there for him too.
we later find out he might need it because he gets hungry because he hadn't eaten all day.
Man,
Ruka's such a baby. They're in the car and he's driving them to Sekaido, right? And at this point, it kind of unravels a bit. Where we've talked about it before, how Ruka tends to need a reason to talk to a girl. When it was Haruka, it was a Harley, right? Like, oh, I want to buy a Harley. Now it's I want to buy art tools,
right?
And now it unravels a bit where he's like, I actually don't know what I need. I just know I need a sketchbook.
I know you come here, Google, right? You know about this stuff.
Just Google some stuff.
Yeah, because my brain is like, sketchbook is like the most no duh thing, right? Like he's just trying to grasp it. Like, well, what's the thing I would like absolutely need, right?
Like, there's zero chance here he knows what he's gonna draw first, right?
Yeah.
There's zero chance. He's gonna sit there, empty page, like,
He's gonna draw Haruka. Not Haruka, Kaori. What if he draws Haruka and then it's weird?
No, but it was interesting. My favorite part of them being in that store was when they got on the escalator. Did anyone else notice?
Mm-hmm.
It was very subtle, but she just got on the escalator like a human being, where Ruka kind of just did this little bunny hop on it, and it seemed very youthful, just very playful.
So the outfits that these two picked, particularly Ruka, for this date, quote unquote date. God, Ruka was looking like a middle schooler, dude. Or like a sixth grade shirt. He with the baggy shirt with the horizontal lines. So I was like, I'm pretty sure I had a shirt like that when I was in the 6th grade.
Yeah, and another moment that felt very mom and son to me was when there was that scene where Kaori's like needing to pick out a notebook, and they look pretty much identical, just one's landscape and one's portrait. And I don't know enough or a lot about sketching, but I feel like if you don't care if it's landscape or portrait, like, I feel like that's a decision you would need to care about. And if you don't, let's farm it off to the sun. Let's see. Hey, do you want to feel important today? Make a decision for me.
Yeah. Hey,
that's what it felt like.
Oh,
yeah. Yikes.
It was cute.
I will say this though, man. Like, of the 3 guys in the house, I'm rooting for Ruka now. I'm rooting for him to find love.
You're not wrong.
I'm rooting for him to find love. I want this to go well. I kind of want to see him make out with somebody. I'm kind of hoping for that.
Yeah,
more
like
than the other guys.
And contrary to popular belief in our fan community here, we actually don't hate Ruka.
I mean, I don't really hate anybody. I mean, because I like to think, at least in my head, that like if somebody does something awesome, they get credit for it. If they do something shitty, then I'm gonna bring that up too. But like, I'm not against someone doing something cool. Let's do more cool stuff.
I don't hate Ruka. I think going back to the reasons why he's in the house, right? He's here to live with other people and just kind of learn, right? And so far, I think Ruka has already learned quite a bit about himself, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully.
And, at least I hope so. I hope he has some takeaways here. And so at the same time, like, it doesn't necessarily mean he needs to have anyone to date, but he definitely is going to have, or he is going to be more grown up when he leaves the house, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think any of us would go as far as hating anyone on the show, just because we see such a small vertical slice of what the real life is like, that who are we to judge?
And even hating the most egregious people, though, is fun, too.
Yeah, and I will say, though, this is, I guess, specific to Ruka. I don't hate Ruka, but yes, he does some of the stupidest shit, and it makes me laugh a lot, and
awesome.
I like that.
Yeah, it's trying to be entertained. Yeah, I'm trying to be entertained. You got to find something to...
Like, it might be a little bit mean-spirited, but it's fun.
So later we'll have an opinion about whether or not this was a suave move, but I thought it was super thoughtful and I would have swooned a little bit because he was like, "Oh, we're going to dinner," but it's like a secret, and then it turns out that it's a Tamago Kake Gohan place, and like Kaori instantly like laughs out loud, and it's like I love it. I love when people like remember small details like that.
Yeah.
I think it's thoughtful.
Points.
No,
I guess he picked one that was way too far out of the way.
Okay, I did research on this.
Yes.
I went down the rabbit hole a little bit on this. So Sekaido is in Shinjuku, right? It would be about a 24-minute drive. It's about 7.2 kilometers to get to Kisabudo Farms, which is the Tamago Kake place, right?
Okay.
So a 24-minute drive, that's not like that far out of the way.
No.
But at the same time, Shinjuku is a very densely populated area. Like, it's a big cultural center, right? Tons of food places are nearby. Like, just by scrubbing through Google Maps alone, there's like a steakhouse and a Chinese food place and like 3 other Japanese diners. Like, you could have gotten food there. An interesting fun fact, there are 2 gay bars next to each other in Shinjuku called Dragon Men and Arty Farty.
Beautiful.
Fun facts with Robert.
Fun facts with Robert.
I love it.
Wait.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, they did kind of make fun of him for going a little bit far out of the way, but it was a good. I think it was a good idea.
His
heart
was in the right place.
Yeah.
And it looked so delicious. I like that you pick out your own egg to put into your rice.
Does it freak anyone else out though that eggs are like room temp? Is that okay? Because I growing up in the States, I thought eggs had to stay refrigerated.
Well, the hot rice cooks it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I mean, it gets cooked. I mean, they have dishes in Japan that include medium rare chicken. Believe it or not.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, that's an actual thing, and it's just a certain way that they prepare the chicken, and they actually like groom the chicken for the dish.
Yeah, I mean, in Korea, there's a dish called yukke, which is just literal raw beef and like some soy sauce and I think like sesame seeds and some other stuff.
Yeah, it's all perfectly edible.
It's all about the preparation.
It's wild stuff. But at this date at Kisaburo Farms, there's a lot that happens. It's a nice place, by the way. I do like the vibe of it. All those American license plates on the wall. It's very cool.
Jinya.
Yeah, and Ruka was like, "Oh yeah, I researched for this," and they're all commenting on the food. He's like, "Oh, this is a very pearly, nice look to the rice." And I noticed this shot that was a little weird since we've been deconstructing Terrace House a lot this episode anyway, where it's like a very close-up shot of someone holding up a spoon with the rice in the spoon.
I thought it was Ruka, I thought.
See, that's what I thought. But then I thought, after that, how did they get that shot? Because that feels like that would have totally broken the fourth wall a little bit in terms of like, we need to get this really close-up shot of the food you're talking about, Ruka. Can you just hold it up to the camera real quick for a little bit? Thanks. Okay, now get back to your conversation.
Yeah.
Wonder. I mean, it was very cinematographic. There's some cinematography there. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Words are hard.
Yeah. Even that said, though, like the conversation I felt like flowed more easily than it had the entire time that they've spent together. Maybe the alcohol helped that a little bit. Kaori was a little bit tipsy. I felt like she was like she's talking much faster and being much more blunt than she has been with Ruka.
Yeah, there was a moment here where I saw some passiveness from Kaori that was, I don't know, it stood out to me like pretty glaringly, where she's like, "Are you concerned about the age?" And he's like, "No, not at all. Why would I be? No, I thought we were the same age." Like he was going in like, "No, it's not a big deal at all. Not a big deal at all." And she's like, "Well, I thought you would be concerned." And I read that as, I am concerned.
Oh, 100%.
That's how I got it. It was like, I'm bringing this up because this is a concern of mine, but I'm going to phrase it in the form of a question to make it think like it's all about you. And so I totally got that. And I was like, yeah, this ain't probably going to go anywhere from her part because he's maybe not a man in her eyes. Like right when she asked that question, I knew what she was getting at. I felt.
Yeah. And I do think it's funny, right? Because we saw his intro interview before he even stepped into the house. He said he was into older women, right?
Yeah.
Yet your actions determine whether or not your words really hold up. And his actions so far is he went after the 21-year-old and then the 24-year-old and then worked his way up to the 28-year-old. Kind of like as a, oh, you're my last resort. For whatever reason it is, but that's kind of what it feels like.
I will
that's not a good feeling.
Yeah, I will say that it did kind of seem like he was lily padding earlier, hippity hopping from one to the next. But I got the sense he really liked her during this date. I got the sense, he has warm feelings. He's attracted to her. He wants to make out. He wants to pay for dinner. But then she looks at him and she's like, didn't she say something like, "You're 20.
You're 20. I can't let you."
Yeah, you're
She's
20.
Like very like, no.
Yeah, shut down, like, bro. And he's like, "Oh, this doesn't feel right."
As a child,
this doesn't feel right.
3 times he was like, "Oh, Kaori, this doesn't feel right. Kaori, you should have let me pay. Kaori."
He's like pouty a little bit, and then she kind of relinquishes and is like, "Okay, next time you'll pay." I don't know. I didn't really. Yeah, it felt like, you'll pay next time. Don't worry. And then she actually won't, right?
Yeah, I don't feel good about this one, guys.
The G move, as someone who has worked in the food service industry for a long time in my life, the G move is to, when you sit down, you slide the server your credit card. First thing, before anyone even orders.
Wow.
You slide it. Really? You put this on this. The end. That way, they don't even bring the check to you. They just bring you back your card and you sign. If you really want to make sure that you're the one that pays, pro tips.
So wait, does that happen so often that they just know about that? They know about the nonverbals?
I mean, yeah, I would say in the West, where tipping's more of a thing.
I have never seen that. That's interesting.
But no, most servers that know their shit know exactly why you're doing that, and they know what to do. Yeah.
Quick corollary. How would I do that at, say, a McDonald's?
Well, at McDonald's, you just gotta fucking strong arm.
You taking your girl out to a McDonald's?
Yeah.
You taking your girl out to a McDonald's? Hold up a minute.
I'm not trying to call the man out, but he is single right now.
It's true.
Hey, ladies.
I can take you to McDonald's.
You going to McDonald's and he's worried about how he's gonna pay.
Just off the value menu, girl. I'm not made of money here.
Yo, you really need that 10-piece nugget? How about that 6? It looks pretty good, right?
Let's just split the 10-piece.
Oh my God! Hey, listen, that junior bacon cheeseburger is $1.25. I said $1.
Oh, no, but we cannot leave this scene at Kisaburo Farms without talking about my favorite Marvel superhero, Peter Parker, also known as Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Also known as Ruka?
Yeah. Because
oh God, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, because Kaori asks him straight up, because she remembers little details about him too. What kind of hero do you want to be? And he's like, well, my idol is Spider-Man.
Hold on. This is his time to shine. This is his time to show up for this date. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of hero do you want to be? Say something that makes you sound cool.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. And then she goes, the best response ever. She goes, oh, I didn't think you meant literally a Marvel character.
Yeah, a Marvel entertainment character.
Oh, like a Halloween costume. Dude, it was just so facepalm.
Yeah. What does he mean? What does he mean? Does he mean he wants to like audition for like a part because they're gonna permanently be making Spider-Man movies?
Like Spider-Man, like you're gonna have webs? Like
they did just confirm for Spider-Verse 2 there will be a Japanese Spider-Man. I'm not saying Ruka's Japanese and like Spider-Man, but
he could pull it off.
Huh? Yeah.
His look. He looks like he'd be a Japanese Spider-Man.
Well, and it'd be Spider-Verse. All I need to do is lend his voice.
Whoa.
Get it.
I think that what Ruka did throughout this date is he lost a lot of points with Kaori without even realizing it. Just with the way he was behaving, the things he was saying, like just saying that I want to be Spider-Man. Like to him, that's like, oh, that's a total, like it's continuing the conversation, and Kaori's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Do you think Kaori, man. Do you think it was almost kind of a dick move on her part to insist to pay? I mean, he asked her out. No. He picked out the restaurant.
No,
it's 20.
I mean, it might have hurt his ego. That's for sure.
It did.
No, it did. But I'm just saying, don't you think that maybe to be nice? I mean, she's usually good at reading, like, to be nice to people.
To me, I think it was maybe a test. See how he'd react to that. I don't know. I mean, part of me does kind of believe like it might have been an excuse, but at the same time, like a 28-year-old letting a 20-year-old pay, like especially in Japan where age really, really matters, right? There's something to be said about
maybe
that.
I'm overthinking it, but I kind of look at that now in retrospect as when she insisted to pay was kind of like, no, dude, this ain't happening. I don't think of you as a man. Kind of. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
What I find so funny about the Spider-Man thing is that Kaori doesn't really dig deep into it, which I don't know much about her, but to me, I can only assume she doesn't really read much comic books or watch Marvel movies or anything, right? Like she's like superhero things aren't really her jive, her
forte,
right? So, because my question, like if I were sitting in her shoes, I'd be like, do you mean you want to build web shooters and get bitten by a bug? Or like, do you mean just the heroic like traits that Spider-Man exhibits, like selflessness and courage and bravery? And
do you want to get kidnapped by a terrorist cell and then break out in a giant iron suit?
Yeah, because look, all I'm saying is like I'm a bit of a comic nerd.
No, that's Iron Man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, be a hero.
Like, Spider-Man's been through some shit, and I just need to know if Ruka is like, if he's a child and is like, I can't wait to get infected by a symbiote and become emo Spider-Man for a few weeks of my life.
It's gonna be a while if he's just waiting around for that.
I want to know more about this.
Yeah. I'm surprised that he's not as into like Risako's parkour then, because it's like that's your Spider-Man training right there.
She's literally Spider-Gwen.
She's way closer to being Spider-Man than he is. Yeah. Yikes. I don't think we can apply logic to this illogical dream and aspiration of his.
We just don't know.
It's a fool's errand.
Are you not a true believer?
I don't think he'd be Spider-Man, but he did have a cool Halloween costume on Instagram. He did become Spider-Man, and he looked cool, admittedly.
Yeah. He accomplished his goal, sort of.
Yes. Not with Kaori, he didn't.
Oh, no. But they get back to the house. It's the first floor again. Everyone's there except for Shohei, and they're kind of debriefing the Ruka Kaori date. On the face of it, you know, they're both like, oh, it was fun. We had a good time, right? But then after Kaori leaves the room, Risako straight up asks Ruka, hey, so you wanted to be suave. Were you suave? And he's like, no.
He's like, no.
No, I failed.
So he's aware. He's self-aware.
At least.
Yes.
That's better than being like, I nailed it. I got this. I'm so suave.
Oh, did you tell her you wanted to really be Spider-Man? Yeah, I told her, girl. Don't worry.
Nah, that he would have been sounding like Yudai at that point.
Oh, yeah.
That's the difference here. Yeah, that's the real big difference here, is how self-aware you are.
He's definitely aware that, like, he even says that he thinks she still sees him as a little brother, which Kaori kind of all but confirms in the next scene. Like, it's the playroom, the three girls are talking, and she's like, Ruka's nice, but he activates this maternal instinct in me.
Maternal.
I want to protect him.
Yeah.
That's a strong word. And then also that scene where Yama brings us up too, where she was like spooning out that food to him, that like gruel, that oatmeal looking thing. I thought when we first saw her doing that at the table, I was like, that looks like a mother and son.
Yeah.
So that looks like, and then everyone else kind of agreed, and that's what she brought up. She's like,
here you go. You gotta grow up big and strong.
Yeah. She said that I have seconds. That's what she said, right? In the playroom. She's like, I just want to have seconds. And he told her that he didn't eat recently today. And she's like, oh, I just want to, help him attain his goals.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
I want to support him.
So why? So I don't know. It seems to me that fostering that maternal feeling in her is not going to be conducive to romance, which is an interesting concept. It's hard for her to be maternal feeling and romantic feeling. Isn't that?
Yeah, you don't want to fuck your son.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife.
Doing
your wife, son.
I agree though. Like you can't be turned on and feel maternal at the same time. If you do, that's called incest.
Guys, why are we doing this?
You mean wincest?
I didn't say it.
Ejector seat.
Well, it's a stark contrast to the next scene, right, Robert?
Yeah.
Segue. Hell of a segue.
Yeah. So we're in Omotesando, right? Kenny, he had previously asked Risako, hey, are you free tonight or tomorrow night? And this is that night. They're at Zara home. They're shopping for rugs and stuff, according to Kenny. But he reveals he wants to do a DIY project. Let's do up the roof. Let's make it nice and slick and awesome, right? And I think this is probably a response to something Risako said earlier, where she had mentioned, like, oh, because of my fractured bones that I should have gotten checked sooner. We probably can't do the beach date because I probably can't swim. And she mentions around that time that she likes whatever the fuck night views means. I like night views.
The night sky.
Okay. Like city skylines and
skylines, the
looking
stars, like Aurora Borealis.
I like those too. Damn it, Robert, I like night views.
I like night views myself. I have a fetish for night views.
Gross. I like night views too.
Okay.
But it's like, that's so vague. It's like when you say that, hey, I want to do an activity. What do you want to do? I like night views. Like, okay. anyway, I think this is a reaction to that because he's like, yeah, let's do up the roof. Then at night we can drink, watch a movie, have fun, right?
How familiar are you guys with Zara Home? Are there any in the States that you're aware of? Or is this all Japanese thing? Okay. So
it's like,
it looks like a Pier 1 Imports kind of thing.
It does.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Home decor.
Or like a West Elm. Yeah.
So here's my thought first before we get into what I really want to get into, which is the rooftop shit. But I don't really look at that. Okay, how many dates have they gone on?
2.
Remind me?
Is this her second? Yeah, because they went on that like coffee, like where they bought the coffee grinder date.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe this is their second. I don't know. People will correct us if we're wrong. But this to me doesn't seem like a date kind of activity. This seems like a romantic relationship kind of activity. To go pick out home decor. To go pick out home decor, to go and decorate a room. It doesn't seem like a second date kind of thing. It was kind of strange to me that they would do that. At least if he's not trying to lead her on. I don't know. It rung weird to me.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, if you didn't say it, Jack, I was going to. Right there with you. I think this is 100% something I would do with someone that I was in a relationship with, right?
Relationship all day.
Yeah. And I mean, it's a great fucking date night idea. Like, go shop for all this stuff to do up the roof. And then they set up this whole hammock thing with candle lights and they're going to watch a movie. And I'm like, holy shit, dude. Like,
popping bottles.
Yeah.
Popping bottles.
I'd be dude. Yeah. I would go into that situation fully understanding like macking out is about to happen.
Like, no, guys, that's just
romantic as fuck.
No, that's just a thing two platonic friends do, guys. What are you talking about?
And then I was kind of surprised to hear Risako say that later on we learned that was like the closest she's been to someone that she wasn't a friend with in a long time. There's not a lot of physical contact, it seems like, that goes on. But this was like, boom, they were locked in. Like they were touching, like a lot in that hammock, in the hammock.
I don't know, like, what part of like that date read as platonic. Like, none of it. Like, it was so intimate. They were sitting, in the hammock next to each other. I was expecting there to be, a kiss at the end.
At least.
But they just like actually watched the movie like weirdos.
Yeah, weirdos watching movies.
I got a theory.
Yeah.
I got a theory, and I thought about this too. Okay. So I agree with everything everyone's saying. But to play devil's advocate for Kenny here, let's assume the best of him. Let's assume that he wanted this to be a makeout sesh. Okay, just go with me down this path for a second. Okay. They're sitting in the hammock, and Risako does what Risako needs to do and throws out this bullshit hypothetical situation. And it's like so like weird, and she is just, I hate to say this, but she's just talking so much, and it's not really like pleasant conversation. It kind of sounds like, I want to be careful with my words here. It just kind of sounds like she's venting. Okay.
Yeah.
She's just going in, like she's just letting it all out. And I can see from perhaps Kenny's point of view, maybe that's spoiling the mood, even though it is an important conversation to have. If there were going to be any smooching out here, that kind of maybe soured the scene. I don't know, guys.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
So here's Go ahead, Daly.
I genuinely had trouble following what she was saying.
Oh, me too.
She was like, okay, it's hypothetical.
Same.
Okay.
And then it just kept going, and I was like, oh.
And it wasn't hypothetical. It was really what she's thinking.
So I've seen the episode multiple times now, and I've been able, after 3 passes, I've been able to crack the code and break down the hypotheticals.
3 passes? My God.
So TLDR for the first, because there were 2 hypothetical situations if you missed that. She threw out 2. For the first one, TLDR, 2 people said they like being open and honest about their love. The girl follows up on that promise and commits actions that deliver on the promise, but the guy does not. Wouldn't the girl be taken aback? That's her first hypothetical, right? Which makes sense. That's very much about them, right? Because she believes that she has been doing a lot to prove that she likes Kenny, but Kenny has not been reciprocating.
Show me how you feel, Kenny-san.
The second TLDR is basically, the fuck, why you talking to Haruka? That's TLDR. That's it, right? In a nutshell. And I think I'm on a similar wavelength here with Jack, in that I can't say for sure if Kenny was down to mac out that night, but a lot of that setup for a date, like, come on, there's like, you don't just do that with a friend or an acquaintance, you know, right?
No. And then to go on after that, well, and this is post him talking to Haruka on the roof, right? So like to go on and then just like kind of get, I mean, obviously it was kind of weird for him to get questioned like that, but like bring on this vibe and not kind of go out of his way to explain itself and put all that to bed after setting all this up. It's just, I don't know. He just kind of leaves it all out there, right? None of it gets acknowledged either.
Yeah, well, so I agree with Jack in that I think maybe Kenny got a little scared away from the way Risako is being very talkative, right?
Yeah, and I can see that too.
But I think what it mainly more is for Kenny is not that she talks a lot. I mean, maybe it is a little bit of that, but maybe it's more so like, and this is maybe me projecting too, but Risako, just say what the fuck you mean. Like,
what do you mean?
Yeah, she slips up so many times and it's like, this really happened. And then she has to go back and say, oh, like, hypothetically, though.
Yeah,
like, no,
she danced around that shit.
Yeah,
it's just like,
yeah, that was a really annoying way of doing things.
It was.
No
it's weird.
I mean,
I'm a reason to do it that way.
I mean, the episode, Passive Boys, everyone's complaining, guys aren't showing more initiative. I mean, the argument can be made here. Kenny threw a lot of initiative out there. I mean, this seemed like all his idea.
Yeah.
All his idea. So got to give him his credit where he deserves it, I think, for that.
Where I think Kenny messes up on this date, though, is that he sets everything up. Like, this is as close to a strike as you can get, right? Like, mood lighting, nighttime, night views, hammock, pushing together, like, you're shoulder to shoulder, glued at the hips, right? Like,
red wine.
This is prime, like, we gonna make out tonight session, right?
For sure.
But at the first moment of Risako's asking me very weird questions, he just dips the fuck out. He doesn't even respond to the questions. He's just like, cool. Oh, but that's all hypothetical, right? Ha 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 ha. And then the scene just ends. And it's like,
to be
come
annoying
on, man.
To him, yeah.
Yeah, and like, even if it's annoying to him, like, man, dude, you gotta say, like, those are hypotheticals that are long-winded, but they deserve responses.
Maybe he was having problems with her too.
He's like literally like trying to think. Like, he's like, wait, and then it did.
Yeah.
And then I don't know how to respond to that.
Also, editing. Why didn't they just show how it actually went down? Why did it cut there? Clearly, something, you know, it ended some way. We don't know because the show didn't show it.
Yeah, it was a really strange thing. And it's funny because after we finish out this scene, right, the panel, like Yama specifically, was just like, okay, but we better come back to that scene or else, like, I'm having Kenny be arrested.
Then
we'll know that Kenny's in, if we don't go back to the scene, then Yama was saying, then we'll know that Kenny is there for self-promotion, which is, you know, kind of the prevailing theory.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And it's I mean, he's not exactly doing a good job of weaseling his way out of that theory, Kenny.
Yeah.
I mean, hasn't everyone been telling us that, like, oh shit, episode 11, like, maybe isn't the next episode?
It's the next episode.
Yep.
Yeah,
next
cutting
episode.
in.
No,
I'm willing to bet that we pick up that night. I don't think that this is over. I don't think Risako would allow this to be where it ends, where he's just like shrugging that off.
Oh no,
Maybe.
yeah, she confronts him about this. Something happens.
You know, I hope you're right. I could totally see it, though, being a complete letdown. Not to be pessimistic, but
I mean, that's kind of where I'm
way.
sitting. Because, like, at the end of this episode, we see Risako say, like, I'm kind of, like, I don't know if I like Kenny anymore. Because she's definitely tired of being the one that is putting in all the effort. That's how she feels, right? Is that she's the only one who's making moves, making actions, right? And Kenny isn't following up or delivering. And I think it's a little bit unfair because, as we've said, the Zara home date was a good move on Kenny. Like, and that was all actionable stuff he did. But he didn't follow through. There was no through line to the end of that date.
Okay, so I saw the episode twice before we recorded. And I would say let's be cautious here to put too much credence in that cliffhanger. When Risako says, I don't know. When she says, I don't know. I mean, I hate to admit it, but I do think that Kenny, in his position in the house, could pretty much have any girl he wants right now. And I kind of hate saying that. I even Haruka, seriously, I don't think anyone at this stage has yet fully given up hope because he's stringing Haruka along. I still think there could be a way he could redeem himself with Kaori because they have such great chemistry. You know, and Risako saying I don't know. That doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, it could be foreshadowing, so it could mean something. But also, I can see her going right back. You know, if he all it is all he needs to do with any one girl is get them alone and just pour his heart out and be honest, and then grab him and kiss him, and then
be honest.
Yeah, and then it's over. That's all anyone wants. They need to see some fire, some passion, some love out of him, and then they will be, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah,
you
know.
them.
And that's,
We know.
We know. See, that's what I'm curious about, right? Because, again, we've seen pretty often that relationships tend to reset in this house, where it's just kind of like...
Right.
The weight of previous episodes don't matter.
Right.
So
inconsequential.
So I just want to see what that leads to with episode 11. But before we end this episode, we need to talk about the fact that Shohei's going to be in softcore porn.
Pink. And so, yeah, that's definitely foreshadowing here. That's definitely foreshadowing to episode 11, what to potentially expect. I mean, Haruka asked him out to, was it an acting training seminar or something?
It was a workshop. Yeah.
Workshop.
Her agency is holding a workshop.
And I thought it was interesting where Shohei's like, you know, I wouldn't normally go to something like that, but with you, I totally would. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hey now.
Hey.
So they're gonna go do that, and
so
and now he's gonna be in softcore porn on Cinemax Friday night in the 90s.
Skinemax.
Like, yeah, on Cinemax.
So a pink film.
Oh, you went into the rabbit hole too?
I went into the rabbit hole. I looked up what a pink film is. It's just it's just porn, except the genitals are censored. Like, that's pretty much it, right?
Whoa, wait
it's
a
just
second.
like softcore porn, genitals censored.
Well, so
that's hardcore.
All genitals are censored in all Japanese porn because, you know, they're very moral people. Pink film specifically rose to prominence in the 60s. I went down in this rabbit hole, y'all.
Jeez, guys.
Dang, dude.
Yeah,
Robert came prepared for this fucking episode.
It was big in actual cinemas in Japan. Like, you could just go to the cinema and watch softcore porn
and sit next to strangers.
Well, I mean, that is super weird, but there were theaters, like porn theaters was a thing because it was literally the only way to see that.
That's fair.
Was in public. There was no other possible way to see it.
But here's the thing.
It's weird.
These pink films were like, they were mostly story, and not in like the joke way of like, oh, who's delivering the pizza? Oh, it's sausage pizza. Like, there was a legitimate actual story to this. Like, I think I read the synopsis of one that was like, is a girl who went to a delinquent school because she was too rowdy for normal high school. And then when she finally got out of it, it's like her love interest's mother or father is being mean to her and she has to beat the shit out of him or something. But also there's nudity.
Okay, and nudity. And so the script looked pretty big too. Like, it looked like a long script. I don't know if anyone read what any of that stuff was, but Haruka was laughing when she was reading certain parts. Like, wow, they really don't hold back, do they?
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna, that's a little bit of foreshadowing here. And let's go watch 11 now.
So wait, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't our boy Makoto from BGITC, isn't he a porn star now?
I think so.
You're gonna go down that path again?
I'm pretty sure. I remember hearing or reading something about it. But
we talked about it on the podcast, Colin.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that means
you think I remember every single one of these episodes? We're on episode 69.
Nice.
So
it's fitting that on episode 69.
Yeah, we're talking about porn.
It's fitting.
Hey, apropos.
Yeah, Shohei's gonna be in a pink film, and what I'm very curious about with him is, his whole thing is I want to do a million things at once. Do you think he differentiates between porn star acting and not porn star acting?
Well, that's kind of the thing about at least Western culture is like, once you kind of cross that line, it's damn near impossible to go back to quote unquote legitimate film, right? It's basically impossible. Like, you've gone out the past, so now you better go all in because there's no other way.
Robert, when you said that, my mind went totally elsewhere. I thought you meant like he's gonna be wanting to do like a lot of people in his pink film.
I mean, maybe.
I mean,
in a lot of different positions.
What is this gonna? How far is Terrace House gonna go with this kind of thing? How far can they go?
We're gonna find out.
This airs on TV in Japan, right? On actual TV.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Fuji TV.
Right. So we'll see. I'm excited.
I want to know because like this probably happened 5 months ago, 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah.
So he's probably filmed it by now, or at the very least has gone to rehearsal. Do you rehearse a pink film?
I mean, you go through your lines, I would think.
Yeah, I guess so. So I'm just curious if it's on the market yet. I kind of like out of morbid curiosity, just want to see the scene.
Shohei's softcore porn breakdown. Look for an episode soon, you guys.
Wow.
Soon, TM.
But yeah, I think we've wrung this episode very dry. Yeah. There's not much else.
Great phrase.
Yeah.
Thank you. But yeah, that brings us to a close on our discussion of episode 10. We're looking very much forward to episode 11. A lot of people in our Discord have said that's the one. So we're gonna look into watching the episode. Maybe we might do a live reaction. We'll see. No promises, but just putting it on your radar. Episode 11, by the way, is called Broccoli Pasta Carbonara Style. And
now I'm hungry, man. Damn it.
Yeah, and hot prediction. What if it's just like 43 minutes of a bowl of pasta? That's it.
That's why it's such a big deal, because there is no Terrace House happening. It's just Terrace Bowl.
It's just a screensaver.
Yeah, it's just the ultimate deconstruction of Terrace House. It's like an avant-garde episode.
Get ready for the broccoli incident.
Oh shit.
Whoa.
No, I'm excited to watch it though. But yeah, that should do us for this week's episode of Terrace House. Of Tadaima. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, if only we were Terrace House, right? If you have any questions or anything, please feel free to email any and all of those things to us at questions@terracehousepodcast.com. We will be back next Tuesday, continuing our coverage of Tokyo 2019-2020. We are almost there. We are almost at the finale of part 1.
It's so weird to be here already. I feel like we just started. It happened fast.
It's been 11 weeks.
Yeah, these last 11 weeks are flown by. Whoa.
Yeah, they have. Damn.
But yeah, we're marching on. 2 more episodes, and then a very long break probably.
Not for our show.
Well, yeah, our show's gonna keep going, but for like our coverage of T20. Who knows when part 2 drops?
We're manning the helm.
Great. Now we already lost 10 subscribers. Thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, guys, listen. If you're just now new, by the way, like shout out to all the new subscribers on YouTube and all the people following us in Discord again this week. This might be maybe the first episode of us you've ever heard. Well, when Terrace House does go on break and when we've exhausted all these episodes, we ain't going anywhere. We are your weekly companion to Terrace House, so we will have consistent content coming out every week, every Tuesday, new episodes throughout November, throughout December until part 2 drops. Come with us. Let's do this. Let's talk Terrace House. We've got some really interesting topics planned for this next kind of off-season moment. So look forward to that. We will be there every Tuesday. Boom.
And what Jack's saying isn't just a sales pitch. We have the numbers to prove it. Since we started, we haven't gone a week without posting. Fun fact.
Consistency. We're doing it.
Yes, we're
I think
soldiering on.
I mean, this episode, or at least within the next couple episodes, will mark a year for us doing the show.
It's
coming up. We should probably celebrate that.
Maybe. We need to figure out what week it would be first, I think.
Yeah.
We should probably look into that.
1 year old. Yeah. Beer Tower. Beer Tower.
Beer Tower.
Yeah, Beer Tower.
Beer Tower.
Yes.
Stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned. You know, we got the good content over here.
That's crazy. That's going to be a year already. Damn.
Mm-hmm. This has been Tadaima. Thanks for listening. Itakimasu.
Follow us on Instagram at Tadaimagram, on Twitter at TadaimaPod, and check out our YouTube channel, Facebook group, and brand new Discord server, all linked in the show notes.